Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean. This is In the Mixer as we continue our Football's Coming Home Challenge with AFC Bournemouth. We are on a hot streak. That is why we are immediately jumping into our schedule here. We have not lost since the end of October, that 3-2 defeat to Leicester. And everything is carried on magnificently. So in that last episode, we had the Christmas period where we played Everton and Tottenham, two very good wins in that game. And since then, the good times have kept on rolling. We had a 2-0 victory over Arsenal. Jack Grealish and Ryan Sessegnon getting the goals for us there. Ashley Barnes got himself sent off with half an hour remaining, but we held on. Our subs came on, did really well, even though we picked up a couple of knocks. Managed to hang on for that 2-0 victory. A really good performance, came flying out of the blocks in that game. Very good value for our result, and even with 10 men, we still had a couple of chances that fell to Danny Ings late on that maybe could have put that margin even further. One of the weaker teams that we've played, Stoke, we actually drew 0-0 in this game. Yes, Chris Smalling got sent off, but it was in the 90th minute. We had a ton of different chances to win this one. Ryan Sessegnon was putting the ball on the plate for everybody, and nobody could seemingly find the finish. We really hurt not having Ashley Barnes out there. His suspension meant that we played Ben Brereton and Danny Ings. Neither of them really had that good a game. Callum Wilson had already picked up a knock, so he wasn't able to play. And we just couldn't hit the back of the net. We may end up dropping those points there, but we'll go through why in a second. Grimsby, we played in the FFA Cup. That's the Australian in me coming out. In the FA Cup, we played pretty much our backup team coming through there, but a good performance nonetheless. And then in our most recent game, a 1-0 victory against Chelsea at our current home, the Majeski Stadium. We beat, or Medeski Stadium, Danny Ings with a late 88th minute goal, which actually puts us in a really unique position. We are currently top of the Premier League table on 49 points, 16 wins, 1 draw, 5 losses, plus 16 goal difference, which is pretty horrendous. It's kind of a mid-table goal difference if you're being truthful. But we're 2 points clear of Manchester City at the moment, who aren't in great form. They've dropped a couple of points since they lost to us. You can see since they lost to us, they have dropped further points again against West Brom, which means we can just sneak in there. They have a far superior goal difference, as do Chelsea in 3rd position, as do Manchester United in 4th position, as do Liverpool in 5th position, as do Tottenham in 6th position. So we still have a ton to do, but at least on points, we are currently sitting top of the table with 16 games remaining, which is absolutely fantastic. Not something that I expected, but if we can finish our last season at Bournemouth, challenging for the title, or winning the title, or making it into the Champions League, I will be so incredibly thrilled and proud with how the first season on the channel has gone. It's phenomenal. And as they say, when you're on a roll like this, and you never stop when you're on a roll like this, so we want to keep going, want to take that momentum into the game against Crystal Palace today, and the home game against Liverpool as well. But that's probably not the biggest bit of news in this particular episode. I have smashed the club transfer record. I've broken the transfer record for an English player. If you're very keen-eyed and looking closely, you may have already picked up on who that is. But I spent £100 million on a player who was unhappy at his club. He cracked it with his manager. As soon as I saw that, we've been scouting him for a long time. And yes, I've gone overboard. Yes, I've been excessive. Yes, I've gone overboard. Yes, I have been excessive. But I felt like this was a really good opportunity to empty out our bank balance a little bit. And given that we're not managing them next season, we can go a little bit wild in the last transfer window that we'll have. So we have brought in Trent Alexander-Arnold for £100 million. Hear me out. His stats are phenomenal. He's already at pretty much a 4-star current ability. I think he's fluctuating at the minute. He still has the ability to be even further. He gets down the right unbelievably. He's still only 20 years old. Already has 8 caps as a current England international. Can play as a wing back. Can play as a full back. Just a superb player. £20 million up front. £80 million over the course of 3 payments. £80 million over the course of 3 payments. 80k a week. He pretty much doubled his wages by coming here, but he wasn't super interested otherwise. He's been great since he came in. Yes, I have overpaid. I am fully aware that I have just absolutely snapped and paid an insane amount of money for a player. I did go and put in bids for the likes of Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, whoever else, to try and get us like a big marquee signing for our last transfer window. None of them wanted a bar of it. So instead, gone after Trent Alexander-Arnold. We've overpaid for him, but it's just kind of a bit of a laugh, really, as our final season at Bournemouth moves to a close. And fingers crossed, if he can hit some decent form, hit the ground running, and get out there in these games, he might be the signing that actually pushes us over the edge and takes us all the way through to that title. He has played the last 2 or 3 games for us. He's been up and down. He's been all right. It hasn't been bad. Hasn't been that great either. But he's almost a reward for my effort and my diligence. I have to edit these videos. I'm the one playing through all these games. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to get a little bit silly with it for the last few episodes. And spending £100 million on a right back it's one of the dumbest things I think I've ever done. But he will play today. We'll see how he gets on. You can tell me if you think it's value for money. Chuck it in the comment section below. If not, I don't really care. I've done it. I can't go past it. It's on rolling auto saves. There's nothing I can do even if I wanted to. All right, looking at the 2 sides here, we've gone Butland in goal, as we always do. Rose will continue at left back. We did put in a bid for Luke Shaw, but he wanted an insane amount of money. So we'll finish our final season with Danny Rose as our starting left back. Alexander Arnold takes the number 2, takes Kieran Trippier's spot from him. We'll play on the right-hand side for the rest of the year. Oxford and Smalling as the central defensive partnership. Drinkwater and Davies in central midfield. Sessegnon on the left wing. Ibe on the right wing. Barnes and Ings up top. Ings is in phenomenal form at the moment, keeping Callum Wilson out of the side. Looking at Crystal Palace, they've got Wayne Hennessy in goal, a back 3 of Sacco, Riedeveld and Tompkins, Soare as left wing back, Joel Ward as the right wing back, Milivojevic and Cabaye holding midfield, Zaha as an inside forward on the left, Townsend as a right winger, and Alexander Sorloth up front. So a couple of decent English players there. Zaha's Nigerian, of course, in the game, but he is really an English talent. Couple other players in and around the bench as well, but we should win this game. I back our team to win this game and continue our run. The 17th in the form table, we are first. Let's show them why. Let's carry on here. Let's put all the pressure back onto Man City and Chelsea, the chasing teams. Benik Afobe is missing this game. He actually signed for Crystal Palace from us during the off-season. Not sure if he's injured or if there's a gentleman's agreement going on that means he won't play. Looks like both teams are kind of wearing their away kits here, crazily enough. Oh, we nearly get through there. Danny Ings with just a long hoofed ball forward. Highlight continues. Smalling comes out and attacks the ball well. Zaha's picked it up on halfway to Cabaye now. I'm hoping this is just a kick-off highlight, and if there is anything that's going to happen, it's a highlight for us winning the ball back in midfield. Zaha has gotten in behind Trent Alexander-Arnold, and they have scored inside the first minute. Sorloth with the initial strike. I think it came off the base of the post and fell to Andros Townsend. He didn't have much to aim at, to be fair to him. Pretty dead angle, but still managed to find the finish. It's just a long ball over the top. We've really got to press quicker in midfield. Looks like Zaha's carrying a knock, which is interesting. And credit to him, he didn't have a ton to aim at. Maybe Danny Rose could have got across a little bit quicker, but we fall behind immediately. Is this the one that ends the streak? Danny Drinkwater now, take a corner, immediate highlight back for us, and Reece Oxford, who I think has been our signing of the season this year, pegs him back immediately, 3rd minute, a great goal from a corner. Danny Drinkwater has been a fantastic signing. If you have a side in the Premier League who's struggling with like set piece delivery or like a deep line playmaker, get Danny Drinkwater. He may cost you a little bit of money. He's probably going to cost you 30 million, but he has been phenomenal. Probably one of the first names on the team sheets. The consistency we've gotten out of him, like 7, he'll give you a 7 every week, without doubt. And Reece Oxford progression has been absolutely phenomenal as well. We've not retained possession particularly well, but who gives a shit what the assistant said? Jason Tyndall has no idea what he's talking about. Despite only gaining 1 point, we are still up top. Arsenal and Man City are playing each other today, which is a very tasty looking fixture. Arsenal are the strugglers this year. It looks like they're around 10th spot at the moment, but they've still got some good players. Still got Lacazette, still got Aubameyang, still got Ozil. And Arsenal have now taken the lead against them as well. Aubameyang with a goal in the 23rd minute, doing us a massive favour. So if we can get like 3 points here, it will be huge. Zaha's through now. Butland comes out well, makes a good save. Not going to lie and say that we've been the better side from the highlights we've seen. We've only had the one for the goal. They've got a corner now. Cabaye to take. Cuts it back to Townsend. Out to Zaha on the left wing. Hangs the ball up and Butland comes out and claims very well. We've got good depth at the moment as well. There's been a few players out for injury in the last month or so. Just with like smaller knocks, where they're out for a week or 2 weeks or something like that. But depth is currently good. We do have 6.6s all across our match ratings here, which is a bit of a concern. No one really struggling, sitting at a 6.5 or below, but there's a couple of players that haven't really had much of an impact yet. Arsenal are now 2-0 up. Chelsea are still drawing 0-0 with Derby County. And you see there's a bit of a gap now between 2nd, 3rd, and the teams in 4th and 5th as well. Drinkwater with the corner again now. Can we have a repeat? Out to Jordan Ibe. Finds Davies, who gets a strike away, and on the follow-up, pinballed around there for a second. I think it hit Papa Soare in the build up to that, and Davies with the follow-up puts that one high into the top left-hand corner. Let's have a look at it now in 3 dimensions. We do that cut back to Jordan Ibe quite a bit. Davies with a good first-time strike. It might have hit Ashley Barnes in the back of the head there. Falls back to him though, and at the second time asking, he puts that one away to put us 2-1 up in the 43rd minute. Can we get to half-time maintaining this lead? I feel like if we get to half-time or even get another one, Crystal Palace don't have it in them to come back, even if they do get a rocket fired at them at half-time. 2 minutes to be added on. They're making tactical changes. Chelsea have taken the lead against Derby, it looks like. So they'll be keeping up the pace at the moment, though there is a 5-point gap as things currently stand. Let's passionately tell everybody. Things are going well, but I know you're capable of even better. And a couple of people switched off, which isn't great. You weren't that bad, but you can still improve. A couple have come back around. Let's just tell everyone you weren't that bad, but you can still improve and see if that does anything. Give it another 15 minutes and then we'll look at making some subs. They've brought on Scott Dan for James Tompkins. It looks like they're still playing that 3 of the back shape and formation though. Jordan Ibe now on the right, crosses in for Danny Ings, and it looked like maybe it was going to be a penalty, but instead Ings has given away a free kick for shoving Ward. Rose now with a free kick, plays it to Drinkwater. Plays inside to Davies, who finds Barnes on the right-hand side. Alexander Arnold with the overlapping run, cuts it back to Davies again. Good 1-2 with Alexander Arnold. Finds Sessignon on the left, who cuts inside. And Sacco has given away a penalty. Ashley Barnes wins that one, and he will also be the man to take. Can he put us 3-1 up? Arsenal are 3-0 up against Manchester City. They are capitulating, and Ashley Barnes puts away the penalty straight down the middle. His 15th goal of the season. Again, we're only in January, so there's a ton of time for him to still hit upwards of 15 goals. It's also probably a little bit more impressive by the way that he hasn't played many Europa League games when we've been rotating our sides, and he hasn't played any cup competitions like the League Cup or the FA Cup. He just plays in the league, which probably limits his return a little bit. I'm sure if he had played Applewell, he'd had 9 or 10 goals the way that Ben Brereton did in those games. Arsenal are now 4-0 up against Man City. They are absolutely tearing them apart. Everton drawing with Norwich. Liverpool are winning their game against Tottenham, I think I saw there. Barnes now coming forward. We've got a couple of numbers nearby. Danny Ings takes a phenomenal first touch, but can only screw his shot towards Hennessy in the Crystal Palace goal. Southampton are beating Leicester. Liverpool are drawing 0-0 with West Brom. I looked at the wrong line there. City have pulled one back in their game against Arsenal. They do need another 3. Oh, God. What is it about me signing players? It happened with Chris Smalling. It happened with Ashley Barnes when we first got him. Now it's happening with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Just spent £100 million on a fullback. And I also didn't remember to put a backup right back on the bench, which is Kieran Trippier. So we're just going to shuffle around here a little bit. Smalling will swing out to the right-hand side. Ben Gibson will come in at centre-back alongside Reece Oxford. While we're doing that, we might as well make one sub up top as well. Danny Ings can come off for Callum Wilson, and we'll hold on to the last sub just in case there are any yellow cards or any further injuries. Assertively, I have faith in you. Get out there and make the difference. We have had both Chris Smalling and Ashley Barnes get sent off in the last couple of weeks, so I do want to keep an eye on any yellow cards that get picked up. Hopefully that's not a long injury for Trent Alexander-Arnold. That would just be so typical of signings that I've made throughout the course of this season, to sign him for an insane amount of money and then have him immediately get injured. Let's highlight now. It looks like it's going to be the way of Crystal Palace. Played forward to Baker. We are pressing pretty well though, all the way back to Sacco. It's ball inside. Chris Smalling's going to tidy up and go back to Butland. We've got time, no need to rush it. It's a long one forward. Comes back to goodbye again, now MacArthur. Great tackle there from Ben Gibson. Wilson now to Barnes. He just needs to hold up the ball a little bit. Brings Sessignon in on the left-hand side. Can he get the cross back in? He does now. Barnes at the back stick. Cross for Wilson. Wilson's hit the crossbar, I think it was. Good interplay though between the two strikers there. This 4-4-2 formation is working fantastically well within the Premier League. 15 remaining. Drinkwater to take a free kick. Played down for Sessignon, and I believe Wilson put in the rebound, but he's going to be marked offside. He is. It was a great strike from Sessignon, I believe, on his right foot, not his favoured foot, hit the post. Rebound bounce to Wilson, but he's well and truly offside. Good stat line here, 16 shots to 9. We are winning possession 51% to 49. It's not a shape or formation you should ever expect to get like 60% possession with. You kind of need that extra midfielder if you want to aim for stuff like that. But we have done very, very well. I'd love to get a couple more goals as well in the last 10 minutes. Let's see what other subs we can make. Davies has picked up a yellow card, so he'll be the one to come off for Lewis Cook. I just don't want to run the risk of getting a second yellow card, though it would be good to get a couple more goals here or there. Chelsea do have a +4 goal differential on us at the moment, though we have scored now the third most goals in the league. Tottenham with 51, Arsenal with 47, us with 45. 4 minutes to be added on. Is there anything left in this game? Can we continue to boost our goal difference? Danny Drinkwater, we spoke about him at the start of the game. He's on an 8.4 rating with 1 assist. He's been absolutely fantastic. Tom Davies an 8.7 with his goal as well. Really forming a nice midfield partnership. I feel bad for Lewis Cook. Lewis Cook, I thought, would be like a star of this team for the next 10 years. And the referee calls full-time a decent 3-1 victory. Calmly, very happy with the result and the way you played. No need to overcomplicate things from there. Now we have Liverpool in 2 days. So what I'm going to do is take everyone that just played in that game and I am going to give them a day's rest, because games are coming thick and fast at the moment as we progress through the FA Cup and as we progress through the Europa League as well. And magic of editing, let's jump forward to the Liverpool game now. Alright, so not a lot happening throughout the course of that week. I did put a bid in for a player. I will show you who at the end of this game. I just can't help myself. I'm in that kind of mood and humour where I've stopped giving a shit. I want to win the league and I will bankrupt the club to get it, because we'll get so much prize money in cash for both Champions League football and for TV rights and stuff for next season. So no, we're not playing on the next season, but I'm going to use every cent that they are willing to give me in the remainder of this January transfer window. We'll go with Butland in goal. Trippier will be the only change. He'll come in for... Right, so our lineup, the only change will be Kieran Trippier coming in on the right-hand side. It looks like Alexander-Arnold will be out for about 3 weeks, so not great, but not the worst in the world. Looking at Liverpool's lineup, Mignolet in goal, Matip and Van Dijk as the central defensive partnership, Robertson left wing, Robertson at left full-back, Mitchell Weiser as a right-back, Daniel Weiss will play as a right midfielder, Divock Origi on the left-hand side as their current star player, Keita and Chan in the middle, Chan now their captain as well. Drej Mertens, Roberto Firmino up top. They're playing a flat 4-4-2. It is very in vogue at the moment in the Premier League, at least within this game, because I've made it so incredibly popular. Liverpool come into this one third in the form plan. We're first. At least Danny Rose has responded well, which is great. We'll go to the tunnel now, and let's kick off this game. Love to get another episode with 2 wins. It would be absolutely fantastic. Though I do know there's a defeat coming. I'm not naive enough to think that we're going to continue this run much further than it already has. We've already been very fortunate in more than a few of these games. The first time we played Liverpool, actually, they absolutely belted the living shit out of us at Anfield, and we snuck away with a victory despite having less shots, less possession, pretty much everything in the statistical column. They won, including fouls and yellow cards and stuff like that. So very fortunate in that game. We were probably a bit fortunate against Chelsea as well, if I'm being completely honest. And we've also been very lucky that Man City, at a point, really could have run away with the league, being like 9 points ahead of us. But other teams have done us favours and they just keep pegging them back. They are playing Stoke and are already a goal up, taking them to 50 points for the season. Chelsea are currently playing against Watford and they're also a goal up as well. So they're now only 1 point behind us as things currently stand. So getting a good result here is going to be absolutely key. Not just to keep Liverpool at arm's length, they do still have 2 games in hand on us, but also Chelsea and Man City chasing us as well. Early doors, not a whole lot going on in the first half an hour. We had to have a shot. Having said that, we've just had it. We've now had 3. Only one of them on target though. No highlights to speak of for either side yet. They're just shading possession with 51% of the ball. Nobody particularly jumping out for either side is playing particularly well. Simon Mignolet is the highest rated player on the pitch at the moment with a 7, which I guess is good for us. Chelsea now 2-0 up against Watford, and we are now into extra time of the first half, and we may get through to half time without any highlights to speak of at all. Dressing room, calmly, let's just say we've been the better team, just keep doing what you're doing and we'll be fine. Okay, that hasn't worked at all, so let's try and fix this. Assertively, you weren't that bad. Assertively, you weren't that bad. Assertively, you weren't that bad. So how did it go? There's a few players that have come back, but at the moment, Ashley Barnes, Tom Davies, and Chris Smalling have all switched off, which isn't great. 3 negative reactions to that team talk. Not my strongest one ever. We'll have to wait and see how Liverpool have responded to their team talk at half time. They do have possession here, but thankfully that highlight is brought to an end. Looks like we're struggling. Jordan Ibe isn't playing that well. Danny Ings isn't playing that well. So we'll give it another 5 minutes or so, and then we'll see where we're at. Tom Davies only on a 6.6, though Chris Smalling is on a yellow card, which is a bit concerning. No one really jumping out for them still. Mo Salah has come off the bench for Drage Mertens. Oxford's now picked up a yellow card as well. Let's have a look at our tactics here, and we're going to hit pause. Alright, Ings will come off for Callum Wilson. Jack Grealish can come on for Jordan Ibe. And we'll hold off on the last sub. I know Davies is only on a 6.5, but I'm concerned about these 2 yellow cards at the back. So let's just assertively say, I have faith in you. Go out there and make a difference. They've both responded well, which is good. Let's resume, and let's also use a shout and say, push forward. We do have a throw in here, so that shout will come through after the end of this highlight. Cross switch out to Davies. Ball in behind now for Grealish. Can he find the ball into the box? Finds Wilson back stick. The 2 subs combine. Jack Grealish steps off the bench, finds a phenomenal cross for Callum Wilson, who hasn't been at his best this season, I don't think. But he has finally responded. It's a good hold-up play there from Barnes. It's probably a dangerous ball in midfield. Thankfully, they weren't alive to it. Grealish with a lovely, lovely run down the right-hand side. It's a well-weighted ball, back stick. Callum Wilson, 2 yards out. You don't miss those, Callum. £24 million rated striker still, despite the fact that his ACL is made of plasticine. We've got an immediate highlight after, which is a bit of a concern. It's a ball forward for Salah. Good tackle from Reece Oxford. Kieran Trippier now on the right-hand side. Oh, he's in a dangerous area, but he gets it to Smalling, who plays Drinkwater forward. Just don't need to be too concerned here. They're not doing anything with the ball. Divock Origi now on the left-hand side. Played forward to Salah. Releases the ball to Firmino, and he has found an immediate equaliser, 65th minute. Don't know about this one. Let's have a look in the replay here. We just kind of overplayed it a bit. Butland went for a long ball forward. Matip won the header well. It's a straight ball forward from Origi, and really, I think it's Chris Smalling there. Just switches off and lets Firmino get inside him. It's a good finish, to be fair, but we will see if it actually changes anything for us. So it looks like a shout is now going to come through. Are they going to start making a few more subs, or maybe we should? Screw it, let's go for it. Let's go tactics. Tom Davies has actually improved a little bit. Trippier isn't having the greatest game in the world. I'm going to bring on Ben Gibson for Reece Oxford and just hope that Chris Smalling can keep his shit together for 10 more minutes. Assertively, I have faith in you. Please go out there and make a difference. 75th minute. He's got about 15 minutes to do something. And we're going to use another shout, and we're going to tell everybody to push forward. 15 minutes remaining. Let's see what we can do. 15 to go to get the victory here. While it won't see us drop off top spot, I would still like to keep that 2-game buffer just for some of the more difficult fixtures we do have coming up in our run home. Stoke have equalised against Manchester City. A Leroy Sané own goal sees them drop down to 48 points, but Chelsea are relentless. What is their current result? I don't know. They might have already played. I can't see them anywhere here. All right, we're into the 86th minute now. We've had more shots. We've had more possession. Is there anything else we can do? Can we tell everyone to push forward? It's a ball back to Salah at the top of the 18-yard box. He strikes from distance. It hits Danny Rose. Do we have a counter-attack in us here? It's crossfield switch to Barnes. He's got a man overlapping in Grealish on the right-hand side. There's men back stick if he can time the ball perfectly. Finds Wilson. Callum Wilson, you absolute fucking gem of a human being. 89th minute. We go a goal ahead. Someone missed their interception. I missed the commentary on that one. Great play here from Barnes. Holds the ball up long enough for Grealish to find the space. He gets his head up pretty quickly. It looks like a good touch, or maybe Weiser tried to clear the ball and it hit Wilson. Landed at his feet and he pokes that one home from a yard out. We're 4 minutes of extra time. Can we hold on here? Can we keep this 3-point margin ahead of Chelsea? I'm desperate to. I got pit sweats and stuff going on. It's been a stressful episode for me. We still only have a plus 19 goal difference. It's not the best in the league. Certainly nowhere near Chelsea's. Chamberlain now, who is actually on the transfer list at Liverpool. We looked at him briefly before deciding against it because his wages were insane. Long ball forward. Origi's gotten in behind. There's about 40 seconds remaining. Cuts back to Chamberlain. Oh, God. They've equalised late. Divock Origi has been tearing us apart since the second half. He's been involved in both goals. It's a good counter here. It looks like they've switched to like a 4-3-3. Origi, and just too many men get dragged to the ball. We had 3 players there, Trippier, Gibson and Smalling all move towards the ball, and that cutback is as simple as you like. Is this going to be the end of the game highlight, or do we have a little bit more left in us? We are pushing on. Barnes now in the right-hand channel. Can he get a ball across? No, he's been tackled by Matip. Finds Grealish. Finds Barnes again. Get a ball in, please. Please get a ball in. Matip's won the ball back, and a long one forward to Origi on the left wing. Surely, referee, that's it. Crosses it for Salah, who strikes from distance, and thankfully Butland gets his body behind the ball well. Oh, the referee's called full time. We've dropped 2 points. Oh, it's disappointing. We had it. Maybe I shouldn't have said push forward that last time. Alright, unlucky today. I'm not going to criticise him. Chris Smalling, good job not getting yourself sent off. I do appreciate it when a defender can sit on a yellow card for an hour. Alright, so with that result, we do still stay top of the table, but we are only 1 point ahead of Chelsea. Our run home is fairly interesting. I'm unsure when we should come back for the next game. I'm thinking maybe we do our February fixture and combine it with March. Let's do our second leg Europa League tie against Krasnodar, because it's our first knockout game in a European competition. And then let's also play the home game against Leicester. And even though that game's actually in March, let's make it like our end of February, end of March game. And then we'll come back later on again in March and maybe do like Burnley and Norwich, or Norwich and Derby. Might do those 2 games in April, and then we'll come back for the end of the season. The last couple of games there, super important ones there. So Bournemouth hold on to draw. I'm pretty sure Liverpool equalised late, but that's okay, whatever you want to say. Wilson gets the Player of the Match award with his 2 goals off the bench. We are still unbeaten within 15 games, though we have had a couple of draws in the last few weeks. And our offer for Ben Chilwell has been accepted, and he wants very conservative wages. It's hard to argue against any of that. Let's boost this up to 40k. Try and get him to accept 500 a week and a lesser agent fee. Let's go to even numbers here. I don't know if other people do this as well. I just like it being simplified. I think it's because so often I'm managing in the A-League in Football Manager, which is a salary cap league, so you just try and like level stuff off and have it be even, because it's easy to calculate how much you've got left. So things are heating up pretty nicely towards the end of the Premier League season. While disappointing not to hold on to the victory there, at least we responded at halftime. At least our subs came off the bench and did relatively well for us, so no real complaints there. We are still top. We do still have time up our sleeve to try and secure first position. If you guys are enjoying the series so far, if you have any feedback, put it in the comment section below. If you want to be kept up to date on future videos as they come out, particularly with FM19 only around the corner and so much great content coming your way for that, subscribe to the channel, or you can follow InTheMixer_FM on Twitter. There will be a link in the description below. As always though, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, and I will see you guys again in the Mixer.